Kathleen May Tall.
Okay. When were you born?
And I was born July the 15th, 1925. Turned 90 this year. And I married Alan in 46. And so that's 69 years this year that we were married.
Wow.
And we've had the 3 children, 2 girls and the boy. And Barry and Pat have no children. Joan and Dennis have 1 son, and he has taken his bachelor's degree in city planning and urban development, and he has worked in Finland, and then he came back and worked in Edmonton, and he went to school in Dalhousie, and they sent him to Finland to do some work. And that's when he worked so long, and then he was given 2 weeks vacation, and he went over to Guatemala and worked for Habitat for Humanity and built a house. And I have pictures of him with the little girl that was going to live in the house when they got done, and her mother and dad. And then he came back and got his full master's degree and worked in Edmonton, I don't know how many years, must be 3 years. And he quit on the beginning of June. Then of course, Doreen's younger girl was getting married on June the 6th, so he flew to her wedding. Then from the wedding, he went to Nova Scotia to spend the summer in PEI with his girlfriend. But he did his work by computer from Edmonton, whatever they wanted him to do. And now, on September the 8th, he flies to Budapest to take 2 years to get his master's degree. He could have gone to Berlin, and that's where he really wanted to go, but it was only 1 year there and 1 year in Shanghai, so he didn't like that idea, so he decided to take the 2 years in Budapest. So we'll miss him really, really, because he's such a good kid, yeah. And then Doreen, she has the 3 children, and Anna lives in Portland, Oregon. She was married, got 1 child, and she has her master's degree in English literature, and she works for a company in Portland that she can do her work from home too, so it works real good for her with the child. Now, Renee was married on June the 6th, and her husband is a chef, but he hasn't got a cafe or anything yet, so he is doing office work for other people. But they have formed a spice and sauce company, which they just started this last week. This weekend they're supposed to be selling it, and they're trying to have enough money for all their startup, all the jars and the whatever they need for it. So she has a website where anyone can donate to this worthy cause. And then their son Tim, he has his bachelor's degree in science, and he's been working with Linda's husband's cousin at the University of Manitoba in the lab there, and is mostly working with fish. But now he's thinking of going back to school to get his master's and maybe go into medicine, hopefully. And what else do you want?
What was it like? You lived on the farm, and I always enjoyed going to the farm.
Oh, I didn't enjoy the farm, Lauren. I was not a farm girl. I was afraid of all the animals. I hated to be out where there were no people. So my years there, and of course, when I married Alan, I said, we're not going to farm too long. And so once the kids were gone, Joan left in the summer of '72, and she stayed in Winnipeg and went to work after she took her secretary's course. So we bought a house and moved to Bozeman, and it's funny, the house we bought was moved onto the lot where, when my parents and I moved to Bozeman first, there was a little house on that lot, and that's where we lived. And then this house that we lived in for 12 years in Bozeman was on that same little lot. Now we enjoyed that because I kept boarders. I had the school teachers, and I had 2 native boys from Puckatawagan. And they were with me for 5 years.
Good.
And they were very, very enjoyable to have around. They were such good kids. And I sort of felt very sorry for them leaving their own parents in Puckatawagan and coming to my place that one was 13 and one was 14 years of age. But they did very well. And we still have Frank. He comes to visit us whenever he can. He works for the band office in Puckatawagan. He's really, really up there in the high bracket of the workers. And the other one, he didn't turn out so well. When he went to school in Swan River, the guidance counselor tried to talk him into taking a doctor or lawyer instead of his forestry that he really enjoyed. So it sort of sent him off course. Things didn't go so well, so he didn't succeed as much as Frank. But we enjoyed them. Well, then in '83, we bought a house in Swan River and moved to Swan River. And we've really enjoyed our time in Swan River. We square danced for 24 years, which was really, really fun time. And we had so many friends, and the kids had so many special days for us, anniversaries and birthdays, and have taken us on trips which have been really wonderful. And other than that, now we're just, our friends are all gone. And if they aren't gone, they're in the home where they sort of don't know too much. And so Alan and I are sort of on our own with our family.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just...
Well, did Alan keep working on the farm then?
Yeah,
when you lived in
he
Bozeman?
went and he farmed from town while we were in Bozeman and helped Barry just when he felt like it. It wasn't steady like before.
Well, and before you were raising pigs was the main,
Yeah,
when I knew
yeah.
it was...
But once Barry took over, it was just grain farming, and he bought more land.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this past, I guess it's 2 years now, he sold the home farm and 13, and just kept the one, and is where he lives. But last year he sold Pete Hollamy's, and he just has now where he lives so many acres, yeah. And I think they would like to just retire to town, but they have Irene to look after,
Yeah.
which is very good for her, because she certainly doesn't want to move at her age.
No, she's got it perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
and
But it's so close even for them to come here.
Oh, yes.
5 miles?
Yeah, it doesn't take any time at all to
No.
drive in, no. And he enjoys the rink work in the winter, and then, of course, the yard and the garden. And their holidays keep them going in the summer. So, other than that, we have a great deal to be thankful for. We've been truly blessed.
Oh, I so enjoyed going out to your place.
Oh, we enjoyed having you. You were just like my second son. Only it wasn't long enough.
No. Holidays always ended too soon.
Yeah.
It was so nice when 3 days after I arrived, there you were at the
Yeah,
door.
yes, we talk about that often. If it was way back then, little Lauren would be coming to stay with us. And now he's not little anymore.
No.
Got kids, grandchildren.
And old. Oh, old age
Oh.
is terrible.
Oh, you don't even think about it. It's just a number.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and if a person's got good health, it means an awful lot.
No, and yours has stayed
Yes.
remarkably good, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I've sure improved, like, yes, because when I had high blood pressure and I had that stroke, but I was very fortunate that it didn't leave me with any ill effects, I don't think.
Well, no, your brain seems great and your body's still moving, and
Yeah,
so what else can you
yeah,
ask for?
No, that's so right, yes.
So how old are you now? 90?
Pardon?
Well, how old are you now?
90, I was 90 the
90.
15th of July. Yeah. And how old was Dennis on the 18th?
You won't admit it, but he's 69.
69.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought 70. I thought, oh,
Or he might be
dear,
70, he's
no,
lying
I
to us.
don't know.
You know Dennis, he's got this
Yeah.
tall tailor, tenor.
Yeah,
something.
right. Yeah.
Tall tails tailor
Tall
is what I
tails.
think. I can never tell when he's
Yeah.
straight or not.
No, he sure got a sense of humor or something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I keep getting wrong messages from what he's trying to say.
Well, yes, I can see that. Right.
Right,
Yeah. No, we never got to know Dennis the same as we did you. He always went to Highmore's rather than the farm.
Well, no,
He didn't like the pigs, he liked the horses.
were Highmores related?
No, like just.
I didn't think so.
With Elsa, how did he get to know them? Do you know?
I don't know.
No, we were going to ask him that, and we forgot all about it.
We'll have to
Yeah.
ask him.
Like, did he ever stay at Aunt Elsie's when she lived in Birch, like, or partway to
I
Birch?
think so, yeah. Because this
Well,
was, no, were they related to Aunt Elsie?
Well, Aunt
Right.
Elsie married Florence's brother, Florence Highmore's brother. Edwin was,
Edwin was
yeah,
Florence.
was Florence's brother.
Oh, so that's
Yeah.
the connection.
Yeah, so I have a feeling he must have met those.
From that?
Yeah, because see, they lived on the river as
Yeah.
Elsie and them lived on that farm
Yeah, yeah.
where, yeah. So I have a feeling that must be how he met them.
I think so, yeah. Going up to it. I think they used to ride horse between the two, couldn't
There it
they?
is.
I think likely.
Because I remember being on one of those horses. It was hard. Like,
Oh.
huge animals.
Huge animal. You'd rather have the little pigs.
Oh, any day. I was thinking that, you know, the land is still being farmed from all those years.
Yeah.
And the real difference is the machinery on it and the number of people owning the individual
Only,
land.
that's right.
But the land itself is
Yeah.
still producing
Yeah, still producing.
perhaps the same amount, perhaps a little less, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, they use so much
he
fertilizer.
used so much fertilizer.
You
Okay.
can grow on
They
nothing with
just-
fertilizer. You're doing no matter what the land is like.
Okay.
You can grow it.
Well,
Some of them guys fertilize twice. A lot of money. They're getting quite a bit of wheat, looks like, or in the wheat to get dumped. And Metcalf were working on that field there, but
Oh, yeah.
back.
Yeah, 6
And
combines and 2, whatever you call them, what do they call it, dumps?
Hauling.
Dumping,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Three big trucks.
3 huge trucks.
Oh, is
all in
that
one
right?
field.
At least 10 men. You might have an old fracturing crew.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, same thing. Only
It's
they're
just-
getting a heck of a lot more done.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there was old Alf had a
Eh?
thrashing crew, didn't he? Grandpa.
Eh?
Grandpa had a thrashing crew.
Yep,
We
he did.
did the first year we were married too.
Yeah?
Was it the first? Or maybe the first 2 years, I guess.
'Cause-
I helped Grandma the one year, remember, because she'd send me out to get potatoes and I didn't like the potato bugs. I said to Alan, would you go and get the potatoes before you go to work? No way, he didn't have time, he had horses to look after. Oh, I thought Grandma would think I went to
Well, that's
Swamp
what
River
you
to
did,
get the
like,
potatoes
mother-
since I was so long, trying to get my hands so they didn't get to the bugs.
It is a colossal, wonderful graveyard. I
Isn't
can
it beautiful there?
so understand why Mom wanted to go back.
Oh, I could see that, because she just,
We
She said
went
home.
well, yeah, yeah.
we went to a lot of cemeteries to Doreen, you know, but you never seen one like this, have you?
No, there were a couple, isn't the one where Uncle Will Jordan is buried? I like that one.
Where's that?
What's, north of the stone house there, what's that called?
Where was that? At Oak Lake?
Yeah, Blair?
Oh,
Blair.
yeah, right,
Is that-
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that cemetery. It's,
Oh,
I don't know,
I
it's
can't-
got big spruce trees.
Were we
and I kinda
there?
like that one.
The Swan River is pretty nice here too, but
It's
Not
big
yet.
and rambling in Swan River, but yeah. Yeah, Uncle Will is buried there. You said you went to their
Well,
funeral.
we
his
went to
funeral.
his funeral.
Oh,
I can't
Maybe I've got the
remember.
wrong.
No,
Is that
like,
right?
I know
Yeah.
they were in Blair School District, yeah. Because that's where we went to that picnic, took Alan's mom.
Okay.
I near the old stone house.
Yeah, just north of it,
Yeah.
somewhere.
Funny, I cannot remember that.
It's got a lot of big spruce trees.
But the rest of them are all right in Verdon Cemetery, aren't they? Like,
Oakland.
Oak Lake.
oh, Oak Lake, that's
Yeah.
right, yes.
It's an okay
Yeah.
cemetery.
It's here in Verdon,
No,
we
it's
went,
not looked after the same.
we went to Verdon too.
We did find the Verdon one too, yeah.
Yeah.
We had to
Long
ask a little kid on a bike, where's the cemetery? He looked at us and said, well, how would I know where the cemetery is?
Uncle Tom was buried there.
Yeah,
That stupid guy. He's a cousin of mine, I guess. Well, I guess we're gonna plant Uncle Tom today.
Yeah, I thought that was
Thursday?
That was the,
Gonna plant Uncle Tom. I'd rather have it like Gladys was just than a coffin.
did you,
A lot easier
go
on
to the
her.
dollar store?
oh, I did, yes.
Oh, good for you. Anybody around town?
Yeah, we didn't know them.
Lots of people, but I don't know anybody.
Lots of people.
Oh, beautiful day, I thought everybody would be at the lake.
It's hot, yes.
A lot of them are commenting. There's a lot of grading going off today. Wheat.
Al, would you mind if I asked you about your early days?
Eh?
Can I videotape you and ask you about your early days?
I forgot about the early days.
Lauren, I don't know if you
Yeah.
know, and you might want to put this on there. Dad was the one to go to the train and get the baby's body. Did you know that?
I had heard
Yeah. So he's
that
he
going
got
back and forth, whether that
a-
happened or not.
Yes, it did. Mhm.
What is that about?
When you went to the train to get Aunt Glad's baby's body.
Oh, yeah. Took it over the other day.
Mhm.
They had a truckload of wood they had to put on top of the truck of wood.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, what was that? They had a
Eh?
load of, what was that? You just said something and I didn't hear it.
Whose truck was it?
I got it either way, yeah.
No, go ahead. Whose truck did you have?
Mine.
And it had a load of wood on it.
Yeah, but yeah, for weight.
Ah, for weight.
For a week
We're
for
going
the
across
winter
fields.
time.
A bad storm.
Snow in
Oh,
Terrible storm.
March.
That was March.
It's a miracle we all lived through it. See, we had to get up you go to the train to get Merle, come from north. She was pregnant, having a baby at the time. And we were all sleeping, and Marge happened to holler, the train's coming in, she could hear whistling coming, and we had all that way to go in. Then we get in the car and we get into that big hill, and then we went in the ditch. So I had to walk up and get Merle, stay there somewhere. Dad had to go get Team Horse to pull it out. Then we got home and had to go across all them fields. Had to cross all them fields going home. And then storm and I don't know how we got there. I don't know. Exactly. You know talking about it?
What year would that have been? What would be 44, 42? 41 or 42?
42, yeah. 41, 41 maybe.
41, I think, yeah. It would have been
Yeah,
41.
I remember it was 41, yeah. And we were, next year we were up to North with Merle and Ellery. And we used to babysit the baby, little Marilyn.
Did you?
Earl Taylor and I used to. Yeah. So what do you want to know?
Well, let's start. What's your full name? Like the middle name and all the rest?
Who?
Yours?
Wilbur. Alan Wilbur.
Oh, Wilbur, okay. Who are you named after?
Myself.
It's your own, okay.
My mother did have a brother named Wilbur. No, William.
Okay.
But my Wilbur, I don't know where they got Wilbur from. I have no idea. I had it all my life. I never used it much. I did for a while with Dad and I, because his was A tall, and mine was AW tall, so we had to kind of keep them separate till he passed away. And we were all right. Yeah.
So what year were you born?
24.
24, and therefore...
May the 25th, 1924. Do you remember that? I always think about it, yeah.
In the hospital here?
I don't remember. I just don't remember. I either was in the hospital here. Wasn't at home anyway. Could have been in Bozeman. There was kind of a nursing home in there.
Okay.
Sure. Was that nursing home going? Oh, you wouldn't remember either.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your birth certificate shows Bozeman.
Was
So what is the first thing you remember?
huh?
What was the first thing you remember?
My wife?
About that time, yeah?
Yes.
That's a hard question. And lots of little things. But remember helping Dad hay, and I would run around the field. All you wanted to be out in the field was Dad. And well, one of the things I remember is Marge had to go to take Marge to Dauphin for ears.
Oh, yeah?
Real deer, they called it then.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. And of course, I don't know, about 2 years old then, like 3 years old. And I wanted mother, I wanted mom. So we went driving one day and we went around and are we near Dauphin? Are we near Dauphin? I was crying like crazy. But we never, she got back home. But Marge was always deaf after that. That's why she was deaf, yeah, with that ear or whatever it was. Beetle, they call them days beetle ears in them days.
Okay.
And, yeah, and then what would be the next thing, different times, riding the hay rack and all the family would go and pick up hay and stuff like that, you know. But I was telling Doreen this morning, there was 3 times in my life I should have been dead. And that's quite the thing. The first time I'd be about 12 or 13, I guess, and we were haying, and when the Stuart Gold was putting the hay up to me on a big high rack, and I was building a stamping down building, and I stepped over the front where the horses were, and the fork went right into old Barney's hips. You could see the marks for ages, and of course they run. And when I opened my eyes one time, and the feet were going like crazy. I opened my eyes one time, and I could see his feet going. And the next thing I knew, I was walking home. I was on the pole, like, you know.
Yeah.
And how I got off, I don't know. And next thing I knew, I was walking home, and Mother said, when I was just near the house, said, "There's something wrong with Alan. He hasn't got his cap on." I always wore a cap. The first thing she said, I didn't have a cap on. She knew there was something wrong. But Dad was out after dinner with that same team. He was going to hold him. They got away. They could never drive together again. They get away every time. And then the next time, well, a lot of years later, I thought I should have been dead. Well, one time I tipped my car over. I should have been dead that day. But that's quite a while. Well, that's the second time. The door flew open, and I was down the ditch, the floor opened, and caught the ditch, and it held the car up. And the wheels are going round and round and round. I see them. But that's another. And then the third time, I had a pole against the barn, and I decided that the old barn was leaning, so I decided to take it down, let the barn go, you know. So I hooked on the bottom. Instead of coming out at the bottom, it coming out at the top.
Mm.
You can right over hit the fender of the car tractor. Now just, a lot of people are that far with it, from the fender of my head. You know, that time when you did the miracle, you're not living, you're living. Miracle that I wasn't dead. That's the 3 times I can think of. Lots of other times like that, I should have been dead, but never. That's 3 main times I remember being dead. But no, it's kind of hard. I should have got Mother to talk more too. She knew a lot, but.
When you were raised on the farm and you stayed with the farm.
Yeah.
So
I lived there right through until till the kids were born. I got the farm given. I thought I want that farm. And I lived there until them. You remember the old house, do you? The big tall house. Cold. It was just good. Everything was so cold. Now we tore I don't know if you ever come back out. We tore the roof off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then rebuilt it then. Then a few years later, we decided to buy the one in town. I don't know if you were there or not, the one in town.
I think maybe once you found Alf's penknife.
Eh?
Do you remember finding the penknife?
Oh yeah, on top of the roof, yeah, when I tore it down, yeah. I still have that somewhere, I think. But yeah, Dad told me about that knife, and I remembered when he was turning it down. And it was there, right where he left it under the shingles. Laying there, laying the feet. Dad was a pretty handy man. He could do anything, but not real good at anything, but he could do it. He built the whole house by himself, you know.
Did he?
Well, a little help from hired men, but no carpenter, just. And then he decided one time they were going to hook 2 binders together behind the tractor, and have one guy driving the tractor and the 2 binders. He hit a hit, it worked good.
Huh.
He was a kind of a blacksmith. He had his forge. But anyway, we worked it. The only thing you had the first round you had to go with 1 binder, and I think a 2, and then at the end you had to unhook 1 because it's this small. You're turning so often you couldn't do it. You had to go way out around to make a turn.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how many years we used that. That's after Stan left when he was in the war and we couldn't get men. And I don't remember how many years. Well, we bought a little tractor, and we hooked both tractors on one of these binders. Better because when you 2 binders 1 tractor, if you stopped, both binders were stopped at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, and I remember a lot about thrashing. I can remember yet Dad bringing that first outfit home in 1928. From Bozeman, driving it home across motor. I was just a kid and Stan, I was out on the road waiting for him. And I remember that. I don't much about it, I just remember him driving it home. And I don't remember too much about thrashing with it too. I was too young, but I knew the next tractor, and then you got the next one. I forget what year. What, 1940, I think. Or 30, 38, we bought the next tractor, big tractor, the big outfit, a lot bigger than that one. We had some Doreen about it, but there was a lot more than the riding that outfit than just thrashing. Because he had to make arrangements for everybody who was there to work. You had to make arrangements to be at their place. And you had to tell the women whether they're going to be there for a meal or not, or whether they're going to be moved to another place. I mean, you had to figure a lot into it. But he loved that. He loves thrashing. Oh, he loves that.
Did he?
He always bought a brand new hat to go thrashing. Then he wear that year, and then next year you get another new one, and he wear that other. Felt hat, that's all he ever wore, felt hat. They all liked Dad pretty good. He was a good boss. He, one thing they liked about him, like most of the men worked, you thrash for them, like. But he never waited for that. He went and paid them the day they got finished. He paid all them men off. Then he got the men money from the thrashing afterwards, you know. That's what they liked. That's why you could have men.
Mm.
You always paid them off. You always they knew they were going to get to pay. Yeah, you know, he had some men there for years and years. Always about.
Because he was working right through the Depression.
Eh?
He was working right through the Depression doing that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it would be because we got in '28. We got the tractor. Then in 19, when the 29, when the dirty 30 really hit. Yeah. Yeah.
And did it hit up here?
Eh?
Was it dry here too?
No, you know. We always hit a crop.
Good.
37 was pretty dry. We always hit a crop. 37 was very, very dry. But it never, like we had a lot of relations come up from down south where they were dried out just to thrash, help thrash too, one thing or another. I drove the tractor, I tried to drive the tractor when I was about 10, 12 years old, on the binder.
Yeah.
And I always drove the tractor to binder. A lot of time we had 4 men toucan behind us, trying to keep up to us. They always had men around,
Well, and you went from a lot of farms. You didn't just do your farm. You did all kinds of farms.
Thrashing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, went all over down there. Far east was at least 6 miles east, and way south. Sometimes north, not too much north, and not too much times west. Mostly down the east country. Yeah, he's always moving. One time the storm come, I think it was October at that storm, and he had an awful time getting the outfit home. He just drifted up so bad. He didn't ever like to leave it away, but he got it home all right, but that was bad. And the snow never went that year, it was October instead. I don't really remember that, but I heard them talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew all the men that thrashed for work for him, you know. I was just a kid. I used to sit in the seat of the tractor and pretend I'm running on the thrashing, I'm running the whole thing. I remember doing that. I just loved sitting there watching that straw go on the blower, you know. Yeah, it was, I never got over it. I still love the old thrashing machine. The combine never met near as much to me as the old thrashing machine. I still have one in my shed, you know.
Do you?
Old wood one. 100 years old.
A wood one?
Yeah, 100 years old. Out at Barry.
Good.
In the shed there. Yeah. We had it in the parade about 10 years ago, I guess. And I give it to Barry. I said, "You do what you like with it." It's still sitting in the shed. But in 1917, I think it was when we the year on there.
Yeah, that'd be a nice one.
And the tractor goes with it too. And Farmall, a great big white platform on, I don't know what the Farmall, I don't know what the number was, Farmall anyway. It wasn't ours, I just bought that afterwards. Well, the thrashing machine wasn't mine either, ours either. Kill floats. And he used it up there, thrashed all the time. It actually come from fairs. So sitting out in the bush, last thing they did was blow shaving in the barn of their neighbors. And somehow or other they got the wheel bent. It was just weight had fallen frozen, they got the wheel bent. He pulled it off just in the bush out there, and I said to him one day, "What are you going to do with that thrashing machine?" He said, "You can have it, take it, get out of here." So I went and got it, and I spent all summer painting it. Really, I made a good job of painting it. And that's when we took it into the fair, Bozeman Homecoming.
Oh.
You might have been there when the Biffies burned.
You talked about the house fire?
Eh?
You talked about the house fire?
No.
No, I never did.
There you go. There's another one.
No, you didn't. Well, that was in 1932.
Oh, okay.
Our house burned. I was just, well, 8 years old. I can still see it. Yeah, we were way back in the back here sleeping, all of us kids and dad and mother was out there in the big front wheel they used to have for dancing and stuff in. And she had the incubator in there, raising her chickens, you know.
Oh.
And I guess it caught fire some way or other. And they got us out, then I wouldn't stay out, I wanted to go back in all that, wouldn't I? For the time. But we all got in the car and I could see the flames going up the windows. You just don't see them yet. And Dad went to the barn to turn the horses and cows loose. And it's the first time he knew he was in his bare feet.
Ah.
He never went in his bare feet at all. He walked all the way down there, got the horses and the cows all loose in his bare feet.
What time of year was it?
Eh?
What time of year was it?
May.
May.
Yeah. So we all went up like Uncle Charlie and got them out of bed and got a place to stay. And they went back down to watch everything. And then the whole bunch of people come the next day and built a kitchen, a big kitchen was on the end. We were sleeping in that night, we slept in that night. We were good in them days. But that's not what I all remember about that. Well, then Dad was building this stupid house afterwards. No insulation, no, just paper. So. You like to step there.
Hmm?
You like to step that old house sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't winter time, it wouldn't matter. But it was winter time when it was cold. That's what I remember till we got married. That was 46?
Yeah.
Then we just raised 3 brats after that. three good kids, 4 good grandchildren, 1 great granddaughter. These are 3 of them. Oh, there's lots of stuff I know, but I can't think of it right now. You think that's right about Linda?
On the street?
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think so? I can't see it. But Elsie, I can see it. Elsie was like that too, you know. She was never nothing around there, but she was just stupid things all the time. One day, Dad always sold grain to old man Lund. And, huh? Oh, no talker. Not talk. No, that was nothing. Just,
Oh, you got edited there, did you? Okay.
What was
Don't tell
said?
that story, huh?
yeah, no, there's nothing to it. It was just, he always sold grain to his old man Lund.
Mm-hmm.
But he always got there at dinner time. He always there for a meal. So one day he came in and when he blew his nose all the time, you know, he spent it on blue, yeah.
Yeah.
They also had a special dinner in the oven. The door is open. And Marge and I were bad anyway. We used to tell Elsie that he hit that since your dinner that she wouldn't touch it. We were bad that way. She wouldn't eat it. He never come near it.
I remember for 1 year, for some reason, you were away, and Gladys sort of was at the farm with the hired hand.
Oh, it was old Jim Day.
Yeah, Jim Day.
Alan was in Winnipeg in the hospital.
Yeah. Old Jim Day, he was another one. He was good to do the chores and manage things with it.
Not Jim Day, Charlie Day.
Eh?
Charlie.
Charlie Day, not
Charlie
Jim.
Day,
Yeah.
Lion, slow as hell get out. Yeah. Were you there that year that Gladys stayed with him? Or were you?
Mm-hmm.
I think Susan was there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you remember the layout of the house then, from that? Because that was
Eh?
still, the upstairs was still there, Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the layout of the bottom floor? Mom and I,
Place where the creamer was, the
yes,
Oh,
yes, yeah, when you
there-
came in the door.
in the door, then the kitchen itself,
Mm-hmm.
and then a wall here, bathroom on this corner, and I'm getting hazy. Then it must have been a hallway to the front somehow you had a sort of a big picture window type room on this side.
Like last time Mom and I were trying to figure out where we all slept in that house.
Because the kids
And-
never went upstairs to sleep.
And
Oh yes.
do you remember a bathroom, I mean a bedroom on the bottom floor?
No, no, I don't. Where would that have been? Maybe that was.
What was,
That was where the
what was
bed-
later the
It
bathroom, I
was the
believe. I
bathroom.
think that was a bedroom, which later became the bathroom.
Okay. Yeah, you had at one stage you had a big tub thingy bob. Do I remember that?
Downstairs.
No,
Downstairs, yeah. Well, upstairs, you had didn't you have 4 rooms up there?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yes.
Two bedrooms and
Yeah.
a big landing and the bathroom, yeah.
I slept in that landing room. There's a big room there. I
Okay.
slept there a lot of the time. For some reason, well, we actually made the bathroom. Dan and I left that little slept in that little bathroom upstairs for years. Then we made it in the bathroom.
Okay, because I remember sleeping with Barry upstairs.
Is that right?
Really, upstairs?
I can't
But, you know,
remember.
see, as a kid, I don't think I ever slept upstairs, so I was asking Mom, where did I sleep?
Well, see, I cannot remember even that you slept.
Like, I didn't think we
Upstairs.
used the bedrooms up there.
Hmm. So much for memories, huh?
Yeah.
And I picture, you know, Gladys talking about that house and her sticking her nose to the screen with her book to get as much last
yes.
sunlight as she could. 'Cause
Yeah.
again, she was. Tell me about Gladys. Was she allowed? She was. I should say lousy. Well, she was more prone to be reading books than helping in the kitchen, and more likely to be helping on the farm outside.
Gladys loved to pick strawberries.
Love to pick berries. If
Oh,
not
she'd
just
do in the summer, I'd pick
strawberries,
strawberries.
any kind of berries.
She picked 100 quarts of strawberries one year by herself.
Really?
Put it down, yeah. But you could never think of milking a cow. I don't think she ever milked one in her life. But I never knew. But she loved strawberries. Didn't like dishes or anything like that, did she? Just reading and picking strawberries. The only 2 things I remember what doing.
Well, she liked raspberry picking too.
Eh?
She liked picking raspberries.
Yeah, well, raspberries, strawberries, and raspberries. Any kind of fruit,
Any.
yeah. Yeah.
But she never liked making a meal.
No.
No, she was a terrible cook.
But she'd read, and then I'd look to listen to the barn dance over the radio, Saturday night barn dance, yeah. What was the name of that? Well,
Grand Old Opry and
no, not before that, was it?
and
She'd stay up for till midnight. Dad would see the hockey game for her, and then she'd get the radio. Only one who could use it at the time.
Lula Bell and Highland Scotty.
Yeah, it was 2 of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's how. Do you ever know why your dad was called Scotty?
No,
No, I don't know either.
you know, I had heard, you know, the cheapskate sort of story, but
Yeah.
that was about all I've.
Wonder
heard.
Dennis had made one of you, but
Oh, Dennis would probably make one up in a fast, but no, it was the sort of being a cheapskate. It went on a ball team or something. They started calling him that,
Uh-huh.
Oh.
and it went from there.
Because I don't know how they get Scotty out of Lorne, but
Well, you know how games and people
but
can
they
do
pick,
things.
yeah.
Could have been his gambling too. I mean,
Well, I don't think he would be when he started that
no,
name,
that's
though.
true. It'd be
I don't
it'd be
think so.
younger. Yeah.
Like I only knew him as Scotty for years.
Yeah.
I remember the one time, it was sports day in Bozeman. Of course, they all had somebody to have a booth. And they bring the ice cream in the big round barrels or whatever. And the boy stole one the night before. And I'm damn sure Scotty was in that.
Yeah.
I'm damn sure Scotty was in that. I never asked him. Here we had no ice cream today for they all the like. If you knew what the other one was, probably. Huey White was like that. I don't know. I don't remember the boy's name. I always thought probably Scotty was in on that deal about that age, you know. He liked fun.
Yeah.
Because that was fun. We liked it. Just something devilment.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if they ever did catch him or not. Yep. But I know we were mad because we had no ice cream for the picnic. That's all we went for was a picnic, ice cream. Susan was telling me about the ball diamond there. Was it
Yes,
Susan?
they went to look at it. Yeah. Yeah.
I said, yeah, I said, right on them seats all the time. Yeah, they went and drove around and looked at it too.
Yeah.
We never missed a sports day. Dad, he just loved sports. No matter how much work we do, we'd go to a sports day. Went to Minnetonka, we went to Swan River, we went to Bozeman, went to Campbell. And then all the schools all had sports days too, but this is the big sports day. We go to the sports day to Crawford School. Oh, Alan Rutledge was the storekeeper. He had him to bring all the stuff up for this booth. You bring this ice cream, and then when their dance was on, he wasn't really ice cream, so he just giving it away to us kids. I was so sick of ice cream. Yeah, Alan was a good guy, and then he went and shot himself.
So did Grandpa like the ball games, or
Oh, yeah.
that was what he went for?
Yeah.
Ball games
Just
and
to watch.
hockey.
No, but I mean for the sports days. He just went
Yeah,
to watch
yeah,
the
oh,
ball
yeah.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, but they had big ball teams from.
Yeah, they
Minnesota,
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you went there and a hockey game was on, you couldn't talk, you couldn't do anything.
No radios, you
had to
couldn't
be
hear
quiet
nothing.
so you could
Oh,
hear the
really?
radio. I said to Alan, well, I sure know why you were called Alan and Stanley, because it's after the Stanley Cup and the Allen Cup. The only two names your dad knew.
Good thing he didn't have any more boys.
That's all right, you wouldn't have known what to call them.
Yeah.
And that was you had a Delco generator, wind generator in those days?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Dad was great for these things. He's the first one to ever have electricity on the farm. We had a windmill up there, and we had this electricity, and it had the wind had to blow before you get electricity. Because the batteries were dead. There was a bunch of batteries, but they didn't hold that electricity. The mother had to watch to see if the wind blowing, you could wash or not. We had a washing machine too.
Mm.
So then Mr. McKillop,
It'd start your wash and it would go pretty good, then all of a sudden, then it'd stop.
and Mr. McKillop was the minister, and he was the one that made this tower for the Dad bought from. Great big wooden tower, went up 50 feet. Then the windmill was on top of that. And one windy day, it was a windy night, a storm, a terrible storm. And that stupid nut was sitting up on top of the thing trying to get it to work. He didn't even worry about nothing. So then we bought a steel windmill. We had it for a long time, and it played out. We bought these and a couple of engines, one engine I guess. But that was that's where I started getting headaches, because you have it down the basement running, and you get that fume. So that was stupid. So I guess, I guess it was still there when Dad left. We had the batteries, didn't we?
Yeah, remember we toted them to town that winter we moved to town.
The
Then
day
the
flood,
basement flooded in there and we were all night toting up batteries.
I give him to Charlie Keck up at Keck's old farm, the farm over there.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened. I never got no money out
In
of it.
52 we got the hydro.
Yeah.
Well, I remember a picture of me when I'm very little, probably 2 or 3, and there's still a windmill in the background of the picture.
Yeah,
but
they
that was
left
just
it,
left,
yeah.
or
Yeah,
it was just left there.
Yeah, it
weren't
was
using
there
it.
for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just been windmill, and I go haywire. You pull up a granary, a big granary with a peak on it, and you pull it up to our upstairs windows, and a cable, and you let it down on the wire, and then let it down, lay in the granary, do your work, and pull it back up. Why I didn't pull the house over, I don't know. Done that for ages. And we were the first one with waterworks.
Really?
Yeah, got that from Abe Ratson. That was the case. I would Like you had a pump down the basement, pump to pump the pressure up. Big tank down the basement that pumps the pressure. Well, we go down and pump up, and somebody needs a tap on upstairs. You pump with the water
No,
going in.
water was going down the drain.
Yeah.
That's why I knew Dennis was wrong about the bathtub.
That's where we had up in that upstairs room, we had a little room there in the bathtub. But, so the way we heated the water with a jacket in the stove, the water went right through that jacket out,
Oh, really?
real hot. And that's what happened when one day I got the stove froze up, that thing froze up and I lit a fire.
Ah,
Blew her to cheer.
Yeah, we were lucky because I had just set Mary in the high chair at the oven door because it was just freezing cold in the kitchen when he got up. And
What did we, to get another jacket? I don't remember what happened after that.
the whole side of the stove was blowing out, so we had to get a new stove.
I can't remember the water here being,
Huh?
can't remember hooking the water up to it again though, did we?
I can't
I don't remember.
after that. What happened?
I don't know what happened.
No, I can remember the stove was taken out. I was supposed to do pies for the rink that day.
I think they left you off the hook, hopefully.
We got good
No, I
insurance
think
out of
Mom-
old Henry Stevens at that
I
church.
think Mum made them for me.
And Dad was like that, he had everything, he'd be the first to get anything like that. He was good at it. Usually, no good that wasn't any good, but he would fix it up. Well, Abe rats in the store get red in this house, I guess. And, I just remember pumping that damn pump. And the basement of the house always had about a foot of water in it. It always. No matter what you did, there was about a foot of water. So you were standing in this water with a pair of shoes on pumping this pump. And then besides that, it was full of mice. That house was full of mice. Never get rid of them. You were there, you were there?
Oh, yes, I remember the mice.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible for mice.
I don't know why we couldn't get rid of them.
Huh?
I don't know why we couldn't get rid of them.
Well, the kitchen was wide open underneath it,
Yeah.
and farm has always got to have mice, so it was easy to come in.
We used to buy bags of flowers in the fall, enough to do all the way. And the mice get in that flower.
I never did that. I had a barrel I put it in.
Yeah. The good old days.
I remember you milking the cows,
Eh?
and then I remember you milking the cows and then putting it through the
Oh, the
Separator.
separator.
separator, and then you had the slops.
Yeah,
Take down the pigs.
take down
Yeah.
to the pigs.
Yeah, this is early recycling, really.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's so right.
One time we used to milk at least 17 cows every day, twice a day.
Really?
Yeah. Mother, she was the best milker. But us kids would all have certain cows we could milk. And so my job was really to go and get the cows. Across the road, there was a farm across the road, I don't remember not. That's Dad is for pasture. And I had to get these cows, and there was 100 acres of wood bush, and I knew that was full of bears. Scared to death. And I always got them, but we'd go to these sports days, we always went to sports days, we go home, the cows there by the gate bawling and bawling to get milked, and we had to milk all them cows after we go to the sports days. Yeah.
It's probably your mother's main income for keeping you kids.
Eh?
It was probably your mother's main
Yeah.
income for
You got the cream checks.
The
buying,
cream check.
yeah.
You wouldn't save too much out of them because you bought groceries, but you saved some.
What did you used to call? I think it was cowies.
Kubas,
When you,
kubas. Big Johnny cattle coming?
yeah.
Kubas. They never listened to me. But they had bells, some of them had bells on them. You hear the bell rattling. And the pigs all over the place. That's how you made a living, though. Cows and pigs and cream and milk and eggs. And who was the one in Killarney?
Pardon?
Who was the one in Killarney that took the eggs and the storekeeper?
Oh, the butter.
No butter.
The mice had got into the cream, and so she made butter and then took it to the store and asked if she could trade it for somebody else's. He went down the basement, brought her own butter back up, and she still ate it then.
You'll eat anything you don't know.
You couldn't tell because, you know, those papers were just the same that you'd put them in. I can remember Mom doing the butter.
Did you ever help churn butter? I wonder when you are. We churn. Well, I guess not that late. Mrs. Stephen was the last one to churn it, didn't she? Churn, but you never
Yeah.
churned.
She never used any coloring in it, so it was like this pound of lard on the table.
Mm.
Roll it around and shake it. But then they had them wooden churns. We had them all the time. The wooden churn, you just push back and
Yeah.
When Barry and Doreen were little, I used to just put it in a quart sealer and let them roll it back and forth. You can't remember doing
I
that.
can't remember that. Must have been
Say
good
to
at
Barry,
it.
you roll it to Doreen.
It was his curling
Roll it
experience.
back. Yeah, I guess that's yeah. He could thank his mother for that now.
you heard them what they call them men? No, baby, something else. Men, they lived
Oh,
in
the
the
hobos,
Oh.
tramps.
They just lived in the bush in the river bank or something. And they'd go around to different places getting something to eat. And they come down to our bed and they come Barry Doreen out near the road. And he'd see them coming, he'd left Doreen sitting there.
He run and hid
He's
in
sitting in
the
the
toilet.
stroller.
Doreen sitting in the lane.
This old
When
this
the guy
old-
came and I gave him a loaf of bread, and I told Alan when he got home, he said, "Did you get my whole loaf?" I go, "I wasn't going to take time to cut it in half." Wanted to get rid of him.
They had never heard anybody either. They were
No,
good.
they weren't looking to harm
They
anybody.
lived in that river bank right with the bridge going into Bozeman. Someone had dug holes in there.
Mm.
I don't know what they really did in the winter time. Never heard what they did. Maybe they went up in the bush. I don't know.
Well, my dad evidently rode the rods one year.
Hey,
My dad rode the rods one
Did
time. Yeah. Don't know where, just heard that he did.
how far do you go?
No idea.
That's how he wanted to join up lately, because that's how they all did. Like, that's how Cecil and Tom and Babe Carter.
You mean Scotty? Scotty, I think,
Scotty,
yeah.
I think it's Scotty's dad. No, Scotty, yeah. Oh yeah.
They all did that to go in and join the army.
Oh,
Him and Bob Woods were great friends.
yeah.
I think Bob was the other one who got the ice cream, I'm very sure. They stayed in the army together for all right through, eh?
Yeah, stealing things too.
And then they joined up. Who did?
Stealing things there too.
And then they joined up to go to Japan, but never got there.
Okay.
That's how they got there home early.
Right, in October of 45, yeah.
Eh?
In October of 45,
They
yeah.
were- yeah, but they were supposed to go right on to Japan.
Okay.
And they dropped that big bomb and
Yeah.
the war ended and they didn't have to go.
Yeah. Well, my dad mentioned stealing a big bottle or big barrel of wine up in Holland, and then stealing a pig down in somewhere in Italy. They were surrounded by buildings. They used their machine gun to just shoot in the ground, and everybody closed their windows and let them steal a pig. There was no issue. And then he traded. They had stolen a truck, an army truck, from the American truck.
Oh,
And
oh,
so
yeah.
they could drive through the Canadian lines and the British lines without any
Oh, yeah.
hassles. And he drove it down around Christmas time from North Italy to a smaller town south where near Ravenna, which had food in it because it had not been attacked
Oh,
and
yeah.
had been bypassed. And so he did his trading there. He was, trading shoes and stuff, army stuff,
Yeah.
for food for his group, and then he got he ended up, they had put the truck in a place where it was being protected by a guard in the mayor said put it in the fire hall, and then the guard at the fire hall said, well, gee, I missed buying boots, I want to buy your boots and I'll trade you my Mauitz or my gun for it. And so Dad came back out of the war with his gun he traded for. for his own boots.
Oh, wow.
And he drove back out of uniform with his the socked feet. That was his type of war. It was,
That was, yeah.
behind the lines. It was
Yeah.
doing things. So,
I don't know, Bob seen much wartime or not, Bob Woods.
I think he was with him.
Well, I think
They were together in
all
the
the
transportation.
time.
unit.
Yeah, I think
they
Fifth
were
Div it was
together.
called, 5th Division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read a real good book, Behind the Wire Fence. I never told you, Doreen. I got hold of somewhere, and it was the prisoners coming over from overseas,
Yeah.
and they brought them over to the States. And they put them behind this, of course, they're locked up. But they said to the people in the States, when they brought these first few bunches in, they all went around and wanted to see the figure. They all had horns on. They heard so much about the Germans. Figured they all had horns.
Here they were, just ordinary people.
It's hard to do.
Mhm.
And then they got to like them pretty good afterwards. They were smart.
Oh, yeah.
They made all their own instruments, had an orchestra. He used to play for the people there. Well, the one guy tried to escape. They didn't know why he did, because he was having a better life than it was.
Yeah.
Near the end, it's told that all the prisoners they took wanted to be taken by the States, not to Britain.
Oh.
Good life over here, not Britain, no. But you know, all them soldiers, I didn't know it, all them soldiers, prisoners, before they went back to Germany, had to work 2 years in Britain to rebuild their country. I never knew that when I read that book.
Really?
They had to work 2 years. Because our prisoners just go home. Yeah. It was a good book. I learned a lot from it. Most of them come back to the States after the war was over and they got things settled. They came back here to live.
Uh-huh.
They liked it so well. But we had prisoners up here north of Raffiking up around there too.
Okay.
Yeah, they could cut wood and stuff. Then we had them Japanese prisoners come. They locked all the Japanese people up.
Hmm.
That was a shame.
Where were they kept?
They were in BC, weren't they?
Oh yes, the BC ones.
And
Yeah.
they just gathered them all up, thought they were all the same as what they were fighting.
Yeah. Bad one. So when did you decide to retire?
Eh?
When did you decide to retire? It was kind of
I've been
slow.
retired all my life. Just.
Yeah.
No, Barry sort of took over. I helped Barry for a long time, worked for him for a while after. I don't know if I really
Did
retired.
you go much after we moved to Swan? Did you go and help Barry much after we moved to Swan?
Some. I remember
Not a
going
great deal though,
pick him up and go and feed the pigs and that.
because you took up golfing then and
Yeah. That's sort
didn't
of when
bother
I,
to go to the farm.
sort of when I quit. I worked right up to the last one with them combine. I run that combine all the time. Pat and I, we had 2 combines, you on one and I went on the other. Very all the grain, so that was up till I retired, worked till he quit, I guess. Pretty well. He come and asked me one day if I minded if he sold the farm. I said, no, that doesn't mean nothing to me, there's nothing left there that I had, you know. So he might as well get the money out of it then. So he sold it. Then he burnt the house down. That didn't really bother me either. It was so cold, one time it got warm.
But it was burned, yeah.
Well, him and I worked together a lot of years, but I noticed it was getting that, we were getting kind of grumpy with each other. Together too much. We curled together, we worked out there together. So I said one day, I thought to myself, I guess I'll quit because I don't want no bad feelings.
Yeah.
So I just quit. He was the boss. I just did what he told me. So I enjoyed that, you know, working like that. But that's my retirement. I never really retired, but I just kind of quit. Well, I guess by that time I'd be getting a pension, was it, Kay? When the pension started. I'd be getting pension by then, sure. Canada pension anyway. remember I got it pretty early.
How did you meet Kay?
Eh?
How did you meet Kay?
Oh, well, a very long question, long story. And then bean supper in Bozeman for the
You
wartime.
used to follow me along before that when I was working at the egg station. You and Ray would drive behind me all the way home.
Oh. And then she liked dancing. She would go to the dances and I'd just sit and watch. I didn't dance then. It just come along. We did. Nothing's too sincere about it. We just started to go together. And she asked me if I'd marry her. So I said, yeah, I guess maybe. We've had a good life ever since. 70 years of it.
Too many?
Eh?
Too many?
Too many. Might not be too many more.
69.
But you know, the trouble is, I think now, I never really enjoyed you kids as much as my grandchildren. You're too busy working.
I think that's normal.
Yeah, I think
Even
so,
now,
yeah.
yeah, it's still, it's normal.
I find that too.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel so guilty that I can barely remember the kids growing up, and Kathy was doing everything, and the homeschooling was okay. She's just there, but the grandkids, I'm there more than Kathy has,
Yeah.
and I know them more because I've seen
Yeah.
them right from birth, and
Yeah.
we're friends. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
so it's very normal.
yeah, it's just the way we have to live.
I guess so.
Because we have to do our outside work.
Yeah.
Not that the women didn't work. The women did more work than all of us did, but
Yeah, Barry's with me a lot.
yeah,
He's go out on the farm and
That's
go out.
that's always
The
a
other two
special.
girls, the only time I got mad at one, they wouldn't, when I made you clean the pig pen, you know, water up the
But
pig.
you know, it was fun because we didn't have to do it every day. What happened, the water broke or something, the
Pig barn broke the water.
water, and it flooded the pig barn. And so he got us out there with our
I'm mad
rubber boots
at
and
you,
shovels
you're
and
good.
shoving all this wet manure out. And we probably complained at the time. That's probably why you thought you were being mean, but no.
I think the only time you really
The
were helping.
smell is what was the worst.
Eh?
Yeah, that's true.
The smell is
Oh,
what
yeah.
was the worst.
But
Yeah.
your barn smelt so much better than one of your neighbor's barns, which you went to. You took me over one time, Al did. And it was just so bad. I just about threw up. It
Where
was
is
just,
that? I wonder.
I don't know. It
What
was
would be
just-
Highmore's?
it could have been Highmore's. It was terrible smelling. I couldn't believe how bad it
That's
was.
when they would spread that manure stuff with. When it be, you must have went at the wrong time.
No, I think I went in the barn itself.
Oh, and it would, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It was just terrible. No, I was with you. It was you had gone over to some place for whatever, and
I don't know.
man. Yours was just perfect compared to that one. It was just,
Or else you just got used to ours.
could be, could be. I don't even have any memories of bad smells or anything on it.
Oh,
Like, I don't really much of the farm, a little bit. Sometimes if it would, I guess, waft a certain direction, I would remember, but normally, but we always used to notice the smell driving past Midcap's farm.
I think it was that one. Yes.
Midcap. Like, there was always a smell there that we didn't like, and it was pig farm,
Yeah.
but it was a different,
Yeah.
worse smell.
I guess I had to wear a mask all the time in the barn.
Later on you did,
But
yeah.
after the smoke was so long, and I guess I choked up. And I remember down that when you in there and put on a mask, I had to run for the door, get some more fresh air, and
Wow.
then choking to death. That's one reason I sort of quit, I guess. And then Barry, he went a little while after I quit. I sold him all the pigs, then he went for, I don't know how long. I said, why'd you quit, Barry? The strawberry smell I have a lot better than pigs. You get in the strawberries.